I also forget. So, very good morning, friends. This is an introductory session uh, on sections relating to CIRP besides part 1. So, we will be discussing part 1 and some of the provisions of part 2. So, what you should have before attending any of the sessions, you must have a copy of the bear code, copy of the regulations, and if you have these case laws, you should identify the case laws which are pertaining to the sections which will be discussed, because normally we disclose the topic well in advance. Like I disclosed it, this will be an introductory session. So you should have the related, or you should mark the case laws, because one case law may be having implications over 10 sections, but all the 10 sections should be marked, so that whenever that section is being taken, so you should be able to raise questions, or you should be able to answer that uh, this in this case law, this particular section was also discussed. Because in case laws, we discuss not only the sections, but some allied laws also, constitution, contract act, so many other things, so that you can have a very comprehensive view. Co-host, please mute if there is any disturbance from anyone. So these are the various parts, as you know. This is the preamble. In preamble, you have to remember just 4 or 5 things. First is that it is a single unified law. That much you can remember. So this is one statement. If you read this, and you have to make your own notes. In PPT also, there is a section to add notes. So click to add notes. And I'm normally sharing PPTs also. I'm not normally not sharing PDF. So you should write below every PPT your notes. Like if I were to write a note on this slide, statement of objects and reason, so what I will write, single unified code, bas, that much. So that I need to revise only these 3 words on the last day of my exam. And all this Ramayana, you know, okay, these were the sections of our. Now this objectives. Objective is maximization, reorganization. You can write in short. Balancing. I'll not write below each and every PPT, just I'm giving you some example. Alteration, so that you can remember, okay, these were the things. But that much is sufficient. Now next, this is part 1. So let us start with part 1. Now please answer. Devrupa ji, section 1 relates to what? Please open copy of Bear Code and tell me what section 1 relates to.
It's a short title, extent and commencement of the act.
Yes, yes, yes. So does it apply to whole of India? Or there are any sections which do not apply to a particular part?
So, part 3 initially that was not applicable to Jammu and Kashmir.
But now what is the position?
Now it is applicable throughout India.
Yes. Right. So this much is the only thing which you are required to know in section 1. Now let us go to section 2. In section 2, I'll be asking some of the questions. In section 2, please answer whether this IBC, it applies to charitable trusts. Haji sir, Patil ji.
No, sir.
Why? Why it doesn't apply? There must be some reason, no?
Because
One answer could be that okay, it is not a business establishment, it is not a commercial establishment,
not profit making organization.
And no, but Sometimes it applies to non-profit making organization also, Section 8 companies also. So what is the logic? In this case, normally, suppose there is a private charitable trust and there is a public charitable trust. So whether it will apply to private charitable trusts, because they are not for public. Actually, you have to make a distinction here. I will answer it in some other way, and then you can do your own research and come back in the group. So basically, part 2, as you know, it applies to corporate persons. And whatever is left is covered by part 3. So anything which does not come in part 2, that will be covered by part 3. This is the answer, basically. And part 2, it applies to company, any other company governed by any special act. So what is this any other company governed by special act? Can you give me an example? Anyone? It says, okay, company is incorporated under 2013 or any previous act, we all understand. But what is this company governed by any special act? He says, yaar, you are every day reading, है ना? आपका घर वाले भी बोलेंगे, you are attending classes and you are shirking your domestic work and you have not learned even section 2. Any answer? Anyone? Not, no. Please give specific answer. Not covered by Companies Act. No. Please give some example. Whether STC will come, State Trading Corporation will come in 1 or 2. So I've given you a hint. ICI is basically a regulator. ICI is not a company. Anyway, I will give you some examples.
Those companies which
Yes. Actually,
they will not come.
Actually, which companies?
Which are regulated by special act like LIC and all.
Yes, right. You are very correct. You are very correct in this. So this will cover, I'll give you some examples like Food Corporation of India, Road Transport Corporation, Damodar Valley Corporation, Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Corporation, Life Insurance Corporation. All these are governed by special acts. So there is a special act, like there is Life Insurance Corporation Act 1956. So Food Corporation, Road Transport Corporation, Damodar Valley Corporation, Deposit Insurance, Credit Guarantee, Life Insurance, National Cooperative Development Corporation, Prasar Bharati. And they can ask you a question. Warehousing Corporation, Employee State Insurance Act, Employees State Insurance Corporation.
Means not applicable to PSU, sir?
Yes, very much. And actually, there are 2 types of PSUs. Some of them are governed by separate acts. Some of them are governed by Companies Act. So it will depend this way. So if it is governed by Companies Act, it will be come under 1, or other it will come under 2. So it will come either under 1 or 2. Now third is LLPs, registered under LLP Act. Suppose there is a foreign LLP, whether it will be covered or not.
Yes.
Yes. So foreign, there are provisions regarding foreign LLPs. Foreign LLPs are basically LLPs which have got their registered office outside India and they are operating in India also. So they are required to register themselves as foreign LLP, subject to fulfillment of certain requirements, which you can go through in LLP Act. I've also given you some material, or please write in the group, I'll share it. Any body corporate notified by government. What is that? ये क्या है? मुझे भी समझ में नहीं आता क्या है body corporate. Clause 2D. This clause has 2 ingredients: a body incorporated under any law for the time being in force, and the central government specify the names of such incorporated bodies by issuing a notification. So there will be a notification that, okay, this will be covered by this. The clause D provides a specific power to the central government to name any body incorporated under any other law for applicability of IBC. Now, next.
Sir, this charitable trust, we didn't get the clarity. Applicable or not applicable?
I've already explained to you. Actually, regarding these charitable trusts, you have to see, first of all, whether it is a business entity or not. Normally, you will be invoking IBC provisions just to liquidate any company in which you have got dues, number one. So if you have got dues under charitable trust, so then you can invoke the provisions, number one. Number two, there may be government trusts, there may be private trusts. So that applicability also has to be seen. And the third angle in this is that, okay, normally it will not be covered under part 2, it will be covered under part 3, individuals and partnership firms and residuary. So that is residuary part basically. So because section 1 is applying to whole of the code, section 1 is just specifying to whom it will be applicable. But this part 2 and part 3 are related to corporates. So first of all, you have to see whether it is a corporate. It's not a corporate. It is not a corporate entity. If I ask you a question whether charitable trust is a corporate person or not, corporate or non-corporate?
Non-corporate.
Yes. So answer simple. Part 3.
Part 3 is only for individuals and partnerships.
No. Who told you? Anything which is not covered by part 2. Suppose there is an HUF, then where it will be covered? There are many things. Abhi to kya hai? You have normally seen trailer of IBC. Now you might be seeing some more visuals in these sessions. Yes. So partnership firms, proprietorship firms, individuals, and whatever is not covered in part 2. Acha, now these personal guarantors to corporate debtors, what are they? Personal guarantors to corporate debtors. An example?
Anil Ambani.
Yes. So any individual, basically personal means individual, partnership firm, HUF, anything which has given a guarantee for a corporate person. Corporate person, we know, there is a definition. So individuals, and individuals include by name proprietary firms, proprietorship firm, proprietorship firms, HUF, partnership firms, and whatever is not covered by part 2, and they have given the guarantee for any corporate person, then personal guarantors. And then it applies to insolvency proceedings, liquidation proceedings, voluntary liquidation, and bankruptcy. This we all know. So what is the difference between insolvency and liquidation or bankruptcy? What is the reason? What is the difference? Anyone? Insolvency basically means inability to pay. And this bankruptcy means adjudication. So bankruptcy is an adjudication process. Similarly, liquidation is an adjudication process. But insolvency is not adjudication. Insolvency is, okay, the person is unable to pay. Now let us explore what can be done about this. So he is a person who has been admitted to the hospital. Now either he will be discharged from the hospital or he will go to the cremation ground. So if he goes to the cremation ground, then liquidation or bankruptcy. And if he is discharged from hospital, then resolution, simple, or repayment. So now I think you have got better clarity on part 2. Now let us go to part 3. Any questions on part 2? Before we move to part 3. Okay, so now section 3, but this starts, I had included some important definitions, but now what I will do is I will show you from the code all the definitions. And then in each of the definition, we can quickly cover if there is anything important. So let me take you, this PPT is visible. No? I've included some questions also, which you can go through on your own. This is the copy of the bare code, which I've copied. Let me make it somewhat bigger. so that it is more visible. I copied it just now, just 5 minutes back. Hmm. View. So 1 and 2 we have covered. Now let us go to part 3. What it says. Just let me zoom it also. Because I am also not very much tech savvy. So that is why I face this problem. Anyway, I think we can read it. Board. So board, simple. In income tax, board is CBDT. Here board is IBBI. Simple. Bench. Bench means a bench of the adjudicating authority. Bylaws means the bylaws made by the IPA. So bylaws are made by IPA. If they says that which of the following statements is correct? Bylaws are made by IBBI, IPA, IU, and so on. So the answer is bylaws are made by the IPA. And what is the related thing made by IBBI?
Regulation.
Yes, something similar. Yes. So regulations are made by IBBI and bylaws are made by IPA. And charge. So charge means an interest. It has been created on the property or assets of any person or any of its undertakings or both. What is meant by this undertaking? So it says charge means an interest or lien created on the property or assets of any person or any of its undertakings. So what does it mean by undertaking? क्या मतलब है इसका? It may be a business entity. ठीक है ना? So person may be an individual and he might have formed a proprietorship firm. It may be a partnership firm. It may be a company. It may be more than one company. One person may be handling more than one companies. Any of its undertakings. Basically, business ventures. So, so charge. And what is meant by charge?
Mortgage, hypothecation, lien.
Yes. So charge is an interest or lien over the property. So interest is a property. Interest in a property means right, title, claim, or share in property. Element of control is more significant than element of use in a possessory interest. So there should be an element of control. Possessory interest does not include ownership of the property. So we have to make a distinction. And lien is a security interest or legal right acquired in one's property by a creditor. Lien in its primary sense is a right in one man to retain that which is in his possession belonging to another until certain demands of the person in possession are satisfied. है ना? A lien generally stays in effect until the underlying obligation to the creditor is satisfied. आपका बेटा मोबाइल लेके भाग गया, ठीक है ना? बोला पापा ऐसा है मेरे अकाउंट में अभी 1000 रुपए दो, मुझे शॉपिंग के लिए जाना है, वैलेंटाइन डे आने वाला है. वो उसने क्या किया? He has taken lien of your mobile unless his demands are satisfied. So this is something similar to lien. तो lien क्या है? Lien is a right. उसमें legal right है. This is just an example. It's not a right. So it's a right in one man to retain that which is in his possession belonging to another until certain demands of the person in possession are satisfied. Okay. So charge means all these things. Now, chairperson. So chairperson means chairperson of the board. But as we know, there is chairperson of appellate tribunal also. But here they are talking of IBC. So in IBC, they are asking of chairperson, means chairperson of the board only. So if they give you options like chairperson of the board, chairperson of the tribunal, chairperson of the appellate tribunal, all of the above, then your answer should be this. Chairperson means chairperson of the board. They can, because they are all out to confuse you. And you have not to be confused. So you will be able to pass only if you read each and every word n number of times until you yourself ask questions on each and every word. Now claim. So claim means a right to payment, whether or not such right is reduced to judgment, fixed, disputed, undisputed, legal, equitable, or unsecured. This is uh, mortgage हो गया. अच्छा, mortgage में anybody can tell me usufructuary mortgage क्या होती है? In mortgage there is a concept of usufructuary mortgage. क्योंकि थोड़ा सा confusing word है, तो sometimes people don't understand. What is the meaning? यहाँ mortgage दे दिया कि it includes a mortgage. Mortgage is of various types. You all know. You have read in Transfer of Property Act. What is the usufructuary mortgage? क्या होती है?
That particular type of mortgage where the mortgagee gets a right to use a mortgage property
Yes.
till the
Can you give me some
expiration.
example? Can you give me some example?
So suppose a property is let out by the mortgagee, the mean profit.
Yes.
That.
So in this case, A has taken a loan from B. B, as a mortgage, offers his property to A. A has given a loan to B and B is owning a shop. So now B says to A, okay, you have this shop as a mortgage till I repay you the money, and I am getting some rent also from the upper floor, which I have let out. So you can keep on adjusting that rent or any other increment thereto until I pay you the amount. And that amount you can adjust towards interest. So this is an example of usufructuary mortgage.
Means he will mortgage and also give possession.
No, not necessarily possession. Possession is not required. What he is interested in his own money. So usufructuary mortgage. So he will say, okay, he will come on day one and he will collect the rent. That's all. What he will do just by sitting at the shop. Because actually, if you transfer, if you execute certain papers, so in that case, you are required to pay some registration charges also. So it may or may not involve. What is the intent that we have to see? The intent is to enjoy the profits or accretions in the property which is being mortgaged. Suppose a cow is mortgaged. Okay, he says, you retain the cow until I pay you the loan. He's a villager. The villager has taken a loan from a money lender. So the money lender will say, okay, you have got a cow, I suppose. So now you just let the cow remain here with me. So I'll enjoy the milk till you pay me the amount. So this is usufructuary mortgage. So in this case, mortgager delivers possession or expressly or by implication binds himself to deliver possession of the mortgage property to the mortgagee and authorizes him to retain such possession until payment of the mortgage money and to receive the rents and profits accruing from the property or any part of such rents or profits and to appropriate the same in lieu of interest or in payment of the mortgage money or partly in lieu of interest or partly in payment of the mortgage money. Yes. Next. So corporate person. So this corporate person, what is this corporate person?
Company.
Yes, company LLP, whether it's a corporate person.
LLP, yes, sir.
And any other example of corporate person besides company and LLP? Company and LLP, everybody knows. Any other example by anyone? So the definition of corporate person includes any other person incorporated with limited liability under any law for the time being in force. The use of the expression any other person incorporated with limited liability appears to be inconsistent with the applicability provisions of the code. It requires interpretation in the light of the provisions dealing with applicability of the IBC. So let us see what it means. the applicability clauses A and C relating to company and limited partnership, they pose no concern as they are consistent with section 3 subsection 7. So this we have to read. Acha. But clause B and D, they use the expression any other company governed by any special act and such other body incorporated under any law for the timing in force. The definition of the corporate person in its last part uses uses the expression any other person incorporated with limited liability. The corporate person definition cannot go beyond the applicability provisions of the code. It must be consistent with the applicability provisions. Use of the expression any other person incorporated with limited liability is wider than any other company governed by any special act and such other body incorporated under any law for the timing in force. And it does not include financial service provider. Acha. In other words, the provisions of insolvency and bankruptcy code do not apply to Hindu undivided family and trust. The word person. Now let us see this word person. Next. Just a minute. 7, 8. अच्छा. अभी तो 7 पर ही चल रहे हैं हम. क्या बोलता है 7 में? ये बोलता है the word person is wide enough not only to include individuals, partnership firm, LLP, but also HUF, trust and any other entity. Now your question regarding trust, Patilji.
Yes, sir.
So the applicability provisions of the code do not use the expression any other person incorporated with limited liability. So where the language of a statute in the ordinary meaning and grammatical construction leads to a manifest contradiction of the apparent purpose of the enactment or to some inconvenience or absurdity, hardship or injustice, then a construction may not be put upon it which modifies the meaning of the words and even the structure of the sentence. The task of interpretation of a statutory provision is an attempt to discover the intention of the legislature. So it is necessary to remember that language is at best an imperfect instrument for the expression of human intervention. I am studying from this interpretation of statutes. Applying the rational construction rule of interpretation, the expression any other person incorporated with limited liability appearing in section 3 subsection 7 of the code would be restricted to any other company governed by any special act and such other body incorporated under any law for the timing in force appearing in clause B and D of section 2 of the code. So this word which says that any other company, just भाई ऐड कर लो संजीव चावड़ा जी को. हाँ, तो any other company incorporated. So it, now we are seeing that section 3 subsection 7 it has to be read with section 2 subsection B and D. In other words, the provisions of IBC do not apply to Hindu undivided family and trust. And it does not include a financial service providers. Financial service providers are not completely ousted. It's not that no action can be taken. But central government has to notify through the regulator, which is RBI, as to whom there will be special set of provisions applicable for financial service providers. In common language, you can say that, okay, banks can take action against a person who has not paid, but a person cannot take action against the bank in case banker does not pay. If banker is to be covered under IBC, there is a separate section and a separate set of rules which are somewhat different from this CIRP and liquidation. I think 227 or some section is there. Just let me see which is the section. Anybody can tell me which section applies to financial service providers that the central government may frame rules? 227 or so? Yes, 227. I did correct. My memory power is improving the day by day. So power of central government to notify financial service providers. 227, section 227. So it says the central government will notify the central service provider. So it will be by way of gazette notification, say that okay, such and such financial service provider will be covered by these. So there is a concept of administrator there instead of this resolution professional, etc. And RBI also comes into picture because in this case, if normally, like companies, if every day action is being taken against these financial service providers, which are basically banks, which involve public funds. So confidence of the people will be shaken, maybe in the government also. So that is why they are governed by separate set of rules. प्लीज एडमिट देम, जो जो भी बाहर खड़े हैं ना, प्लीज एडमिट. अदरवाइज क्या होगा, आप सोचते हो हम तो आ गए, बाकी को खड़ा रहने दो बाहर. ऐसा मत करो सर. Now section 3 subsection 8 creditor. Creditor means any person to whom a debt is owed and includes a financial creditor or operational creditor, secured creditor, unsecured creditor and a decree holder. बाकी तो सब समझ में आ गया. Decree holder क्या है? And decree holder is covered by which of the allied laws?
Section 3, subsection, sir.
Subsection 8.
The
Corporate debt, sir. Section
हाँ.
3 is corporate debt.
नहीं नहीं, मैं तो डिक्री होल्डर की बात कर रहा हूँ सर.
Sir, CPC.
Yes. So this decree holder is covered, is a term which is covered by Code of Civil Procedure, which says that if you have filed a suit against a person for recovery of dues and the court gives a judgment that okay, you are entitled for this amount, so that that judgment is called decree, and the person in whose favor such judgment is given is called a decree holder. And what is the person against whom such judgment is given? देवरूपा जी आप मत आंसर करना, आपके अलावा करने दो किसी को. Because there are two persons. One is the decree holder. In whose favor?
Judgment debtor.
Yes. आप, मैं तो बोला था आप मत करिएगा, किसी और को करने दो ना, आपको तो पता ही था ये.
Oh, sorry, sir. I thought.
नहीं नहीं, कोई बात नहीं, कोई बात नहीं. So anyway, section 3 subsection 9. So debt means a liability or obligation in respect of a claim which is due from any person and includes a financial debt and operational debt. Now here in this definition of debt, they have covered only liability or obligation in respect of a claim which is due. Why? Acha, can anybody tell me why they did not include decree here? Why in earlier definition in creditor they included this decree holder, but in the definition of debt they have not included decree. Why? Can you tell me the reason? What could be the reason?
Decree is to be executed.
No, decree itself is a debt. So decree is a declared debt. When you just enclose the judgment of the court, in that case you are not required to submit additional proofs.
Any
Like
other
say,
proof.
yes, like I supplied these goods, etc., etc. That kahani has been already listened to by the court. So the decree itself is an indication that this money is due and the court has already applied the mind. But in respect of other debts, if it is a financial debt or a operational debt, then you have to justify. Default means non. So I am just pointing out to you certain issues which might not have been discussed in my earlier video lectures. Default. So default means non-payment of debt when, because I think I have shared with almost all of you 50, 60 recordings on this part 2 only. Not part 2, but regarding this IBC, CIRP, liquidation, etc. Mainly part 2, I think. Lot of lectures are there. They are available on my YouTube channel also. I have created separate playlists for them. So those playlists, I can show you also. Let me show you, because some of you might not be aware. So let me show you that thing. If anybody is not aware. Just it will take 1 minute. Because I always try to make each and every class somewhat different from what I have already discussed. So there is no point in discussing something which I have already discussed and which is available in public domain. That is already there. So you can watch from there. There are many people who are not in touch with me. They are watching my YouTube channel and they are getting benefit out of it. So that is available for public. But whenever I am delivering, when I am giving my own time, So that should be with some purpose, so that I should also get something. I should also know something new, or I should be able to tell you something which you might not have come across. And actually, we have to equip ourselves accordingly, because exam is really difficult, really, really difficult. If I appear, if I appear for the exam, I also may not be able to pass. Somebody told me, "Have you ever appeared for the exam?" I told him, "No, I have never appeared." And he said, "Okay, those who fail, they talk like this only." Mega, okay, if you are happy that way, then it's fine.
100 out of 100, 100 out of 100 will come, sir.
No, 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 ऐसा नहीं है.
Century will put, century will get. That's why the IBC will prevent you to write.
No, 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 ऐसा है. One of my students has already secured 82.
For us, Acharya Devo Bhava.
No, 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 it's not like that. But I'm just saying, it is really difficult. Just a minute. It will take just 1 minute. Because my WhatsApp was not open now. So that is why it takes some time. 9,000 contacts in my phone only. So all those chats will also. Condolences. Yes. So I hope my screen is now visible or not.
No, sir.
Okay.
No.
Huh? Now it is
No.
visible, no?
No,
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 sir.
not visible.
Just a minute. Just a minute. Yes. Yes, now it must be visible. Now it is visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is my channel. So on this channel, you can see a lot of videos are there. So this is the playlist. So playlist you can see,
Yes,
home
sir.
videos playlist. So you
Yes,
just
sir.
click on playlists. So there you will find lot of videos. January 23 batch videos, December new syllabus, effective 1st of March, videos of September batch, March, April batch. So what you can do is you can watch, I think, September batch videos or even December batch videos. Actually, some of them are private. Most of them are public. What I do is I keep some of the recent videos as private. Not that I have to hide anything, but some people will say, "Oh, we have paid you some money and it is available for free also. What is the fun of paying you then?" So, but just to satisfy them, I keep some of the recent videos for a limited view for a certain period only. When new batch start, I open that also for everyone. Like this is unlisted. So you can see this unlisted. So if it is unlisted, so it is not available for public. But if this like this, say this video is there, so this is available for everyone. Videos of September batch, March, April batch, lot of batches are there. Oh, just new syllabus. Let us see this video. Just a minute. Yeah. So, and on the right hand side, you will see okay, these are the videos. So you can watch anyone. If you click on say this first mod, then this lot of videos are there. Just a minute. Like in this list, I will advise you to watch videos from September 22 watch list. So what it contains? It has, I think, some 38 videos or so. It is section wise. Introductory section, quiz, I hope you are seeing on the right hand side, section 4 and 5, section 6 to 12. So section wise commentary is there. The only problem here is that some of these are in English, in Hindi plus English. But now onwards, I am trying कि भाई all the videos should be in English only, so that
Very good,
people.
very good, very good, very good.
So,
Good.
and that is for you, Rajshekharan ji, only.
Yes, yes, sir. Because now southern only you are the only we are depending on you, sir. Southern peoples.
So
हमारा हिंदी improve हो रहा है सर.
so what happens is yes. So by watching my videos, your Hindi will improve, and
Yes,
I'll also learn English by speaking in English. So both are benefit. Rajshekharan ji,
Yes,
you
sir.
have,
Yes, sir.
you have to arrange a South India tour for me the day you pass.
Welcome, 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 welcome. I learned you Tamil also, sir. Tamil, Telugu, Kannada. I can make them to for that, sir. Welcome, welcome, sir.
So these are the videos. I hope now it is visible. And so what you have to do, you have to click on this September watch list. Different playlists are there. So there are lot of videos, and other also you can click. There are more than 150 videos which are available for everyone. So as I told you, some of the videos are unlisted for a certain period of time. Just that is also just to satisfy their ego, not mine. Okay. So now let us go back again to the screen. Yes. So we were somewhere here. So debt we have covered. I've explained to you why decree is not covered here. Default. Default means non-payment of. So first of all, and you just see the order. First of all, there should be a debt. Unless there is a debt, you are out of IBC. So when a petition is filed against any person, what they say? The other party will say, my lord, he has filed a petition, he's a fool. It is not a debt at all. So first of all, there should be a debt. Then there should be a default. First of all, debt. Even if you prove default, but if there is no debt, then there is no default as such. So first of all, debt. Debt means due and payable, both. So default. Default means non-payment. Non-payment when? Non-payment when whole or any part or installment of the amount of due has become due and payable and is not paid. Earlier the word was repaid. Now they have changed the word to paid. So sometimes you have to look actually what is the benefit of reading from the code. If you read from the code now, so they will give in footnotes whatever was the position earlier, and sometimes they put questions on this. So they will give you all the option and is not repaid. It could be some other. If you are reading from an old edition, if you are not reading the updated bare code, so then there is every likelihood that you might commit mistake. So you have to specifically look for the amendments, and amendments are very much visible when you just download a copy from the IBBI website or you get any book. In books also they are giving it. So it is very important. And is not paid by the debtor or the corporate debtor as the case may be. What is the difference between debtor and corporate debtor? This is just an introductory session. So for 2 hours will be just understanding how to read basically. What is the difference between debtor and corporate debtor? Anyone? Why? Because they are using 2 words, so they must be using it on purpose. Because they are saying in say 310 debtor or the corporate debtor. Otherwise, they should have used one word only. Anyone can give me any legal logic?
Sir, debtor is a individual and partnership firm.
Yes.
Corporate debtor means corporate person.
Yes. And another logic will be that since part 1 applies to the whole of the code, so they are here specifying the applicability to all the persons who might be covered, whether under part 2 or part 3. Because we are reading from part 1 only. Section 3 is covered in part 1 only. Now, financial information. Financial information, very favorite of all the examiners, because what they will say, okay, financial information does not include which of the following. So they will include some of the options and they will give some other option. Like financial information, say they will give besides this one project report or projected cash flow statement, anything. So financial information in relation to a person means one or more of the following categories of information: records of the debt, records of liabilities when the person is solvent. So they might include an option, records of liabilities when the person is insolvent, records of assets of person over which security interest has been created. They might include the word tangible or intangible just to confuse. Records, if any, of instances of default by the person against any debt, records of the balance sheet and cash flow statement of the person, and such other information as may be specified. So this is the definition as per section 3, subsection 11. Because in the process, I am also learning, I am also revising section 3, subsection 11. Section 3, subsection 11. 11 का था, बताइए। अच्छा, such other information. I was at 3 subsection 11. Okay. So 3 subsection 11. Can you give me any instance? Okay, what could be specified here? It says no, with as such other information as may be specified. So by virtue of such inclusions, the central government reserves with them certain things which they might like to introduce at a later stage. Suppose India's they give some changes in future that okay, this should also form part of the financial statement. So then they will specify. Whether cost audit report will come here? Any answer? Because they are putting questions like this. ऐसा नहीं इसको रट के चले जाओगे, you will not be able to answer. हाँ जी, cost audit report, whether it is financial information or not.
No, sir.
Yes. So यही is this way, right? Correct answer. So financial, so that way you have to apply your mind. You have to, what I will advise you, you form groups between yourself and you take test. आप बोलो पाटिल जी, आप राजशेखर जी को बोलो तुम बहुत ज्यादा स्मार्ट बनते हो ना, आई विल पुट यू सम क्वेश्चंस, यू ट्राई टू आंसर. है कि नहीं राजशेखरन जी?
Yes, sir.
You put some difficult questions to Patil ji,
Oh, yes, I will put,
which
sir. I will put, sir.
which will not be able to answer.
Yes, yes,
You have to put him 10 questions which which he will not be able to answer.
I will
Yes,
not
sir.
invite him to Bangalore, sir.
Yes.
Huh?
नहीं, you can talk over Zoom ना, उसमें क्या Zoom you just get connected on Zoom for 10-15 minutes.
Yes, sir.
That is sufficient.
Yes, sir.
बस और क्या उसमें क्या है? हम तो चाहते हैं, I want that every 24 hours this Zoom meeting should continue amongst
yes.
you.
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, I agree, sir. I agree, sir.
So what
Agree,
you can do, is whomsoever you know. Again,
Yes,
you can invite people in the group also. That okay, not so much. Don't overdo it also. Say we will just assemble for 15 minutes over Zoom and we will put questions.
100% correct, sir. Yesterday, I read for the section 60, 171, 242. Both
Uh-huh.
three are confusing.
Uh-huh.
Both three are confusing jurisdictions, sir. 60,
Yes.
172, 242.
Yes, right.
There is Patil ji only to answer.
But before putting questions before others, you should tell me also, so that if they
Yes,
put
sir.
questions to me, I should.
Patil ji, for voting, he
Abhi,
made me so much.
otherwise, Patil ji asked me, and I am not able to answer. Patil ji bolega, he is also a duffer.
Yes, yes.
So better to take class from Rajshekharan instead of Gupta ji.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So financial institutions means a scheduled bank. Let me, अच्छा, इसका तो फिर वहां से देख लेते हैं, ये वहां पर. By this we have included. So now what you can do is, you just below this in footnotes, you can answer. You can write your own thing. Okay, this does not include. You try to find out 4 or 5 instances which cannot be included here. Financial information. Like I told you, projected cash flow statement. This is a record of the balance sheet. So record is something which has already taken place. Financial institution. Financial institution means, I hope my screen is visible, na?
Yes, sir. But font size is less.
Eh?
Yes. Yes.
Font size. Okay. No, sometimes when I switch from one PPT to another, na, sometimes it is not so just.
But
Okay.
we can enlarge this, sir. Nothing to worry.
Okay.
Yes,
So
we can do
three.
that.
So financial institution. Financial institution means scheduled bank. Financial institution defined under Section 45 of RBI Act. Public financial institution. So basically, central government where 51% holding is with the central government, and other institutions notified by central governments. Now, is there any unscheduled bank also? They are talking of scheduled bank, scheduled bank. कोई unscheduled bank भी होता है क्या? या सारा scheduled ही होता है?
Yeah, unscheduled are also there.
तो अच्छा, who are those banks?
Share capital less than certain limit, I suppose.
तो अच्छा, तो please do research
Small
on that.
banks.
Okay, so please write in the group regarding these unscheduled banks. क्योंकि ऐसा है, suppose each of you takes 10 sections and then you exchange notes. Okay, 10 sections I'll be taking, 10 sections Rajshekharan take, 10 sections let Devrupa take, and sync. So the group is meant for that purpose only. Group is not meant for just sharing the link. So financial, we were here, scheduled bank, let us see. 3 subsection 14. So now report of working bank announcement of financial institution set up between 1948 and 1974. Development financial institutions. Definition of financial institution. So definition of financial institution. Scheduled bank. Under this code, scheduled bank is considered as financial institution. A scheduled bank means a bank which is included in second schedule attached to the Reserve Bank of India Act. So they can ask simple question like this. So scheduled bank means a bank which is included in second schedule, third schedule, first schedule. You will just maro tukka. Dikkat ho jayega if you have not read. So this is included in second schedule attached to the Reserve Bank of India Act 1934. The following banks are considered as scheduled bank. So even whether state cooperative banks are scheduled banks or not?
No, sir. No,
Yeah,
I think.
no, they are. They are. Andhra Pradesh State Cooperative Bank is a scheduled bank. Bihar
Yes,
State
yes.
Cooperative Bank is a scheduled bank. So all these are scheduled banks. Urban Cooperative Bank, whether urban cooperative banks are scheduled banks or not. Sometimes they are this and this urban cooperative bank. It is also a scheduled bank. So state corporation bank, state cooperative bank, urban cooperative bank, all these are scheduled banks. So if the word urban cooperative bank is written after the bank, then you will be able to identify it is a scheduled bank. If the word this,
What is unscheduled bank then, sir?
अभी scheduled तो पूरा कर लें, पहले scheduled करते हैं. What is not scheduled is unscheduled. बता दिया ना, second schedule है. In second schedule, names are written. In second schedule, names are written. If your name is not there, then you are not covered, not a scheduled bank. Scheduled means given in second schedule, simple. Urban Cooperative Bank, अच्छा. SBI and Associates Bank, ये SBI and Associates, and then nationalized banks. So all private sector banks, other public sector bank, foreign banks. Foreign banks are also scheduled banks. Whether foreign banks are scheduled banks?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, foreign banks are also. Grameen Bank, whether they are scheduled banks? Yes, they are also scheduled banks. So if you take the list, it might be running into some, say 250 banks or so all over India. So they are defined by names. So somebody just do and they try to guide in the group. Okay, private sector banks are covered, Grameen banks are covered, And then these nationalized banks are covered, urban cooperative bank, SBI and associates, and then this state cooperative bank. So all these are scheduled bank given in second schedule. When whatever is not given in schedule is non-scheduled. Now financial institutions defined under 45I. What are these? ये क्या है? 45A क्या है? 45I में there is a definition. Besides scheduled banks, so these financial institutions which are given in 45I of the Reserve Bank, they are not scheduled banks. Scheduled bank, second schedule, RBI Act 1934. Financial institutions defined in section 45I. So 45, it means any non-banking institution. Basically,
NBFC.
these are non-banking institution which carries on its business or part of its business any of the following activities: financing, acquisition of shares, letting or delivery, carrying on an insurance business. Yes, mainly collecting for any purpose and any scheme, monies in lump sum or otherwise, some deposit companies. For there are certain operations, agricultural operations, industrial activity, purchase of any goods. So these are the financial institutions. And these public financial institutions, what are they? Public financial institutions. Public financial institutions, they are given by name. Basically, LIC is there, Infrastructure Development Corporation of India. Then specified companies referred into in the Unit Trust of India, Transfer of Undertakings and Repeal Act 2002. Not all the companies of Unit Trust of India, specified company, which is referred to in UTI Act. Then institutions notified by central government. Such other institution as may be notified by the central government, provided that no institution shall be so notified unless it has been established or constituted by or under any central or state act, or not less than 51% of the paid up share capital. So this is paid up share capital is held or controlled by the central government or by any state government or partly by central government and partly by. So this is the 51% paid up. Like in my notes, nothing has been given. 51% simply they are writing. But what you can do is you can just add one more word, 51% paid up. Suppose they put a question whether it is paid up or authorized or what. So then you might be confused. But notes में तो कुछ लिखा ही नहीं था. With the central government. So this is paid up. और आगे चलते हैं. So what I will do, we will discuss up to 12 o'clock and then we'll open the house. Now, and other institutions notified by central government, simple. 3 subsection 16. 33 subsection 16, there is nothing. Basically, accepting deposit, etc., etc. Exercising associated rights with financial products. Operating an investment scheme, etc. 317. So financial service provider means a person engaged in business of providing financial services. Simple. 318. Financial sector regulator. They are also defined. RBI, SEBI, IRDA. What is full form of IRDA? Insurance Regulatory and Development
Insurance
Authority.
Regulatory and Development Authority.
Yes, and PFDRA? Pension Fund Development Regulatory.
Development Authority.
Yes. And such other regulatory bodies as may be notified. They can even ask you, financial sector regulator includes RBI, SEBI, IRDA, PFDRA, and such other dash bodies as dash. So they will be, then they could give you different options like regulatory for the first. They could give you another corporate bodies. So you have to read that way also. So whether the word is regulatory bodies or corporate body or notified bodies or specified bodies, you have to read each and every word. As notified, for notified, they could substitute with subscribed or some other thing, specified. Because everybody will remember this RBI SEBI. Now they are at second stage. They are trying to fail you and you to pass. That is the challenge. But it is just a tug of war. financial sector regulator. In
As of now, only this four are there. Rest are to be notified. Is it like that? What is the position?
that we have to check actually as per the code. So let me just check. Actually, these are my own notes in summary form. Let me just check from the code. Just a minute. That is why I have put a copy of the bear code also here. So if you want to check, you have to check from the bear code. So let us see what bear code says. 318. So 318 says 318 था क्या था ये 318 नहीं था पहले ही था इससे पहले था ना 3 का क्या सेक्शन है कौन सा सेक्शन है ये 17 है क्या है
318, sir. 318
3
financial
हाँ
sector
3 अच्छा 319 आ गया 18 कहाँ चला गया एटीन में तो यहाँ लिक्विडेटर है ये कुछ गलती है इसमें बेयर कोड में जो देयर इज अ मिस्टेक हियर ऑन द वेबसाइट IBBI वेबसाइट ना वेबसाइट में क्या दे रहा है लिक्विडेटर का डेफिनेशन दे रहा है इसमें वो कुछ कॉपी पेस्ट हो जाता है ना कई बार तो देयर इज एन एरर ऑन IBBI वेबसाइट आल्सो तो 318 क्या है लेट मी रीड फ्रॉम
Shall I read, sir?
हाँ 318 यस प्लीज
Financial sector regulator means an authority or body constituted under any law for the time being in force to regulate services or transaction of financial sector and includes the Reserve Bank of India, the Security and Exchange Board of India, the Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India, the Pension Fund Regulatory Authority, and such other regulatory authorities as may be notified by the central government.
So now they can also give you, they can also ask you something like whether this definition of financial service provider पे थे ना हम कहाँ थे financial sector regulator yes
Financial sector regulator.
So they can ask you a question like this and I myself imagine myself to be a paper setter और सोचता हूँ कई बार कैसे कंफ्यूज करना है स्टूडेंट को तो व्हाट आई विल पुट फाइनेंशियल सेक्टर रेगुलेटर आई विल आस्क हिम ओके यू टेल मी बिकॉज आई नो एवरीबॉडी नोज RBI RDI RDA सबको पता है हमें पूछ लेंगे कि भाई वेदर दिस फाइनेंशियल सेक्टर रेगुलेटर इज एन इंक्लूसिव डेफिनेशन और कंक्लूसिव डेफिनेशन
Inclusive definition, sir.
yes
Because
so,
as notified by the central government.
no.
That is also
it is it is a
Conclusive.
conclusive
Conclusive only.
it is conclusive because means so wherever the word means is used means it is a conclusive definition and nothing else can be inserted तो means में क्या होगा ये change करने का जरूरत ही नहीं पड़ेगा गवर्नमेंट को whenever they want to make a change what they will do they will issue a notification and this section 3 subsection 18 will stay intact but if there is something if there is now let me say the definition of section 3 subsection 16 financial service it says financial service includes they should have written means also they have given so many examples but why they use the word includes here and means there they use the words includes because it is subject to interpretation Supreme Court might come across some activity some complex model which may be a mix of all these or which may be some new like say Bitcoin technology now people are transferring people just yesterday I got a phone call that okay I've done this much transaction I invested 10,000 rupees and I've got 10 lakhs in my account what is the taxability some of the provisions are not in an income tax also right? But they have made this Bitcoin technology also but then again it's subject to interpretation whether it will be taxable or not so many other things so what is meant is basically that if the word they use includes it is an inclusive definition and there is a possibility that some new activities might come but if the word means is used that means it is a complete definition and nothing else can be inserted In a way, they have enabled themselves to include certain other activities also by way of notification. So whenever there is a change, so they will issue a notification. But in section 3, subsection 16, suppose there is a court case and the Supreme Court says that, okay, and one party challenges that it is not a financial service. Second party contested that it is a financial service. Supreme Court will give the judgment. So based on the Supreme Court judgment, they will include that thing also. So they will just by way of an amendment, there are say I sections, so they will include 1G inserted with effect from this. So that is the basic logic. Let us again go back to section 3. So I'll stop at 12 o'clock and then we can have question answers. Insolvency professional, very important definition. And sometimes they ask questions. Earlier they were asking, but now they are not. Why? Why they are asking? Why it is so important? Section and the wording used, enrollment and registration. So registration is always used for IBBI. You cannot enroll yourself with IBBI or you cannot register yourself with IPA. So you have to enroll yourself with IPA and register with IBBI. So registration certificate is given by IBBI only. Enrollment number is given by IPA. Now, side by side, what you should do is you should read section 206 also, side by side. So now let us go back to section 206, what it says. Because in section 206, I'll tell you one or more important questions. This is section 206. So section 206, just the act. No person shall render his service as insolvency professional under this code without being enrolled as a member of an insolvency professional agency and registered with the board. So both these things are to be there in section 206. So 206 says that without enrollment and registration. So why they wrote the word registered also, register in section 206 also? They wrote the word registered because then somebody might have said, okay, I'll enroll myself with IPA, but why should I register with IBBI? They are charging a separate fees. Whether I'm a fool, I have not get any assignment. You know, I passed the examination, I paid the fees. I registered for pre-registration annual course, then I paid the fees. Now I have enrolled also myself with IPA, but I don't think why should I pay fees to IBBI? So I'll simply enroll myself. So that is why in section 206 alone, they use both the words enrolled and registered. And then in 207 also, they use the word registration. In 207, there was no reference to enrollment. In 207, it says that every insolvency professional shall, after obtaining the membership of any IPA, register himself with the board within such time, in such manner, and on payment of such fees as may be specified by regulations. But there is no such thing in 206. It is all governed by 207. So 207 alone is subject to regulations. And what it says? That okay, you have to pay certain fees, etc., etc. From the day you have passed the examination, like suppose somebody passed the examination, so say 12th of February 2023. Within 1 year of your passing the examination, you have to apply to IBBI for enrollment. If you do not apply, say within a period of 1 year, then you have to again appear for the examination. Because some people are in job, so they ask me, okay, whether we can appear. Okay, anybody can appear. Even at 12th class, BCom, anyone can appear in the exam. This limited insolvency exam. So they don't bar because they are taking fees. So why should they bar? They will ask you only because actually if you go to a cinema hall, anybody can buy a ticket. And he can just come out without entering the cinema hall. So it is something like this. So you have bought a ticket, you have paid for the examination, but you are not enrolling yourself. Just for your knowledge sake, you might be appearing. So here they say, okay, after you pass the exam, there is a certain time period. Within certain time period. Why? Because only till that time you are expected to be abreast of the latest developments. Suppose you pass the examination today and you apply for enrollment 10 years after that. So then your knowledge might become outdated. So that is why they put a time period, because in this time period you have to apply also, you have to undergo this pre-registration annual course also. There are so many things, so many formalities you have to do. They also might revert to you for seeking clarification. Suppose your CIBIL score is not good, CIBIL. So in that case also they might not register you. Lot of things are there. Lot of clarifications are there. Some people are not able to just provide their employment certificates, because what they do, they seek information from the day you became a member. Suppose you say that, okay, I became a chartered accountant in 1989. For people like me, it's not difficult, because I did one job only, say from 1989 to 1995, and from 1995 I'm in practice. But there are people who have changed tens of jobs. So they were in private company for 2 years, then again 3 years. So they will say, okay, you give us employment certificate, appointment and resignation of all the, even suppose you were a banker and you held 10 positions. So for all the 10 positions, they will ask you, okay, you give us proof that you were assistant manager, deputy manager, journal manager. So then people are confused. अरे मुश्किल से तो exam pass किया है, and then they are asking so much information. But you have to give. Insolvency Professional Agency. Person registered with IBBI under 201 as IPA. As on date, how many insolvency professional agencies are there?
3 are there.
3. Acha. Can anybody else also enroll? Or they cannot enroll? Or there is a limit? Only 3 can enroll. What is the provision?
There is no limit.
Yes. Any person, if he fulfills the requirements are given. If you fulfill those requirements, then you can enroll yourself.
Section 201.
And in 201, is there any limit on capital? What is that? This IPA has to necessarily to be a Section 8 company or what? Or it can be a limited company also.
Section,
हाँ हाँ बोलिए बोलिए.
so Section 8 company it has to be.
हाँ तो देवरूपा जी, मैं I should congratulate you in advance, है ना? You are when you are appearing for the exam?
Sir, I intend to appear in April.
देखिए ऐसा है.
Oh well.
You should appear before 30th of June, because there is every likelihood that they might change the syllabus with effect of 1st of July. So anyone who is attending, so they should plan, okay, that they should try to pass the exam. I will not use the word appear, but they should try to pass the exam before 30th of June. So you have to make a time-bound target. Section 3, subsection 21, information utilities. So person registered with IBBI under section 210 as information utility. Now this information, as of now, there are how many information utilities? And the name also? Rajshekar ji, you know the answer?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. At present, one it is, sir. Only one is there.
What is the name? What is the name?
NESA.
NESA, sir. NESA. We are
No,
writing
full
exam.
name.
National Electronic Services Limited.
No. Electronic, National E-Governance. Sir.
E-governance, national e-governance. Only.
Have you
we are
ever,
writing the exams.
has anyone visited the website of NESL?
That they are only conducting the examination, sir.
No. What examination?
They are central only here, sir.
No, that is NSDL.
NSCL.
अरे राजशेखरन जी, आपने तो हमारा बेइज्जती करा दिया. हम आपकी इतनी बड़ाई करते रहते हैं, that you know so many things, और आप जो है, आप तो गलत आंसर दे रहे हो. क्या चक्कर है? देखो ये है. हाँ ये कहूँगा ये. हाँ, NESL, National E-Governance Services Limited. Now this is this website. ठीक है ना? Now this Indian Overseas Bank. So whosoever enters it, okay. This is the website. IP services, API, FAQ, Customer Connect, Media. Rather you should try for a login. Suppose I press this login, है ना? पंगे लेने के लिए देखते हैं क्या है. तो आपका क्या है? Please select who you are. Entity user or IRP individual user. इंडिविजुअल यूजर आप सेलेक्ट कर लो, ठीक है। इंडिविजुअल यूजर आप अपना ये दे दो, पैन नंबर दे दो और अदर आईडी, ठीक है। पासवर्ड दे दो, कैप्चा इमेज कर लो, लॉगिन कर लो, ट्राई। उससे क्या होगा, यू विल गेट सम नॉलेज। जो ऐसे इधर उधर का साइट देखते रहते हो, गूगल गूगल, इसकी बजाय ये देखो, ज्यादा बढ़िया है, अपने काम की चीज है। ओके, सो नेशनल ई गवर्नेंस सर्विसेज लिमिटेड 321 हो गया। अच्छा 323, 322 क्या था? 322 क्या है पटेल जी?
Section 322, sir.
नहीं, सेक्शन 3 सबसेक्शन 22। जैसे हम तो आई हैव इंक्लूडेड ओनली इंपॉर्टेंट सेक्शन है ना, तो
Notification.
Notification, sir.
अच्छा उसमें कोई खास बात नहीं है। नोटिफिकेशन मींस नोटिफिकेशन, दैट इज व्हाई माइट आई हैव नॉट इंक्लूडेड इट। पर्सन 323 means person. So person is individual, HUF, company, trust, partnership, LLP, any other incorporated body, and includes person resident outside India. And person resident in India, it is defined under section 2V of FEMA Act 323. Let us see if I can ask you some question on this person. Because my intention will be to cover up to section 3 only. Because these are very basic and everybody should know. 323. So this is the book written by my Guruji. This is the book. Are you able to see?
Not fully, sir.
Just a minute.
Huh.
Now it is better. You can see now.
Makija.
Yes. So he is my Guru in IBC, and this is the book written by him. Although it was not updated, but still, for understanding purpose, this book can be used. And it runs into say around 2000 pages or so. And this book came when IBC came. So it was written in 2018. When not many regulations were there, but basically it is a very good commentary on the various sections, applicability, etc., etc. So, person, let me see. Hindu undivided family. Whether the expression Hindu undivided family has been defined in the code or not? हाँ जी, बोलिए। No, Pawan Vaishnavi is saying no. Yes, right, he is correct. So this is not defined in the code. Company, whether the word company has been defined in the code? Company दिया हुआ है कि नहीं दिया हुआ?
Yes, sir.
Somewhere that as per the Companies Act.
Yes.
Like 2013.
But if you say whether the word company has been defined in the code, the answer will be no. But ये है कि there is a reference. The definition of the term company can be taken from section 3, section 2, subsection 20 of the Companies Act. The definition is given in Companies Act, not in IBC. The code has not defined the term trust also. Trust to be defined नहीं. अच्छा, where the term trust has been defined? Trust कहाँ दिया हुआ है definition? कहीं तो दिया होगा. In which code? Which section?
Trust Act.
Yes, Indian Trusts Act 1882. अच्छा, partnership where it is defined?
Partnership Act.
Which section?
2.
हर का 2 में थोड़ी होता कोई जरूरी. और थोड़ा आगे बढ़ो 2 से. It is single digit only. Okay, guess. Section 4. LLP? LLP का section कौन सा? 21N. 21N of the LLP Act. Acha, any other entity established under a statute. Association of persons. An association of persons is not specifically mentioned as a person, but the definition being illustrative, it will be considered as a person under the code. The presence of the word includes signifies that the definition is not restrictive or exhaustive. The unincorporated entities will also fall within the meaning of a person under the code. So if there are any unincorporated entities, they will also fall within the meaning of a person under the code. So that is why there is an indirect reference. Okay, trusts can be included here because trusts are normally unincorporated bodies. Trust may or may not be registered. It could be an oral trust also. So association of persons, it is not specifically included. Person includes a person resident outside India. So a person other than a person who is a resident of India is considered as a person outside India. So whether a foreign citizen will be covered under which? Resident outside India or not? Suppose there is a foreign citizen, there is a Canadian citizen, where it
No,
will be
sir.
included? Yes, it will not be included. So
But
it
how
says,
IBC can act against a person resident outside India, sir? Only
Kyo?
against properties in India?
Yes,
Uh-huh.
property, if he stood as guarantor.
Hmm.
There might be a company, there might be an LLP in which he might be a director. A foreign citizen can be always be a director. NRI can be a director. Suppose he is a designated partner.
Hmm.
Whether a non-resident Indian can be a designated partner or not in an LLP. He can be.
Yes,
He
yes.
can be, yes.
Because in that case, he will be represented by a person in India. He has to name someone who will be acting on his behalf, who is liable to take notices, etc. Because they cannot catch hold of persons who are residing outside India. So they have to nominate, like in PAN also. Suppose there is a non-resident. If you apply for a PAN, then you have to give some authorized person in India who will be liable to receive notices, etc. So similar is the concept. Person resident in India. चलिए आगे चलते हैं. Person resident outside India. So person resident outside India means a person other than a person resident in India. So person resident outside India में सारे आ जाएंगे आपके foreign citizen. वो कहाँ पर आएंगे? Person resident outside India. ठीक है जी. अच्छा, prescribed आगे देखते हैं.
So foreign citizen is also included, sir.
Everyone is included. Who is a person? He is a person. Mr. John. Now Mr. John is a Canadian citizen. Okay. Now his father-in-law is residing in India. Whether he can give a guarantee, bank guarantee or not, he can. He can stood a guarantee, guarantor ना. बैंकर को क्या दिक्कत है? बैंकर को वो बोलेगा भाई मेरा एनआरओ अकाउंट है इंडिया में, वो आप उसके फंड्स प्लेज कर दो, बैंक गारंटी दे देता हूँ, क्या दिक्कत है? दे देगा वो. देयर नो इशू ना.
Yes, sir.
सिक्योरिटी इंटरेस्ट. देखो ऐसा है, मैं आई एम जस्ट ट्राइंग टू इनिशिएट. I am not just an authority on anything. So what I always try to initiate the discussion. I just try to ignite the queries. It is for you to have something conclusive on that. You just do your own research.
Yes,
but normally things will be right only 90%. So 10% I also may be saying something wrong, or it might change over a period of time. Suppose you watch my video 2 years back, something I told. So there might be some error in that also. Maybe due to lack of understanding, maybe due to development of recent judicial pronouncements, and so many other things. Security interest, section 3, subsection 31. Security interest. So it means a right, title, or interest, or a claim to property created in favor of secured creditor, which secures payment and includes mortgage charge, hypothecation, assignment, but does not include performance guarantee. There is a difference between performance guarantee and bank guarantee. Bank guarantee is which can be invoked, payment can be made. Performance guarantee is, okay, if performance is not done, then, and it might entail some money element or even otherwise also. So security interest, basically some property is attached, some property is identified that, okay, if you don't pay, you can take this. It is something. So security interest, whether it can be given to an unsecured creditor.
If it is given to unsecured, he will become secured only.
So Pavanji is right, and you are also right. Yes. So it is in favor of a secured creditor only. So whether you can make an unsecured creditor a secured creditor? Suppose initially he was an unsecured creditor. Now can you make him secured? And up,
Assigning the-
and,
Yes,
up,
sir.
and, up,
assigning-
and up to what
assigning the
stage?
debt-
And
Some
another,
new value has to be created.
yes, right. And that too, when the company has come under IBC, if it has not come under IBC, or it is not subject to PUFE transaction, you are very correct that if you make an unsecured creditor as a secured creditor, then you might come under the PUFE transactions. Suppose there was a supplier of goods and services. Now you could not pay him. You are a real estate developer. You say, okay, I am not able to pay. Your dues are 2 crores. You just take this flat. Now by giving him flat, you have turned him into a home buyer. Earlier he was an operational creditor. So you are changing. So you are changing the status from operational creditor to financial creditor. And now suppose this all happened before your company came into CIRP. But now CRP was initiated. He was a relative of a director. He was a related party. So in that case, the period will be 2 years. So even transaction which is done 2 years prior to CIRP, that can also come under PUFA transaction. Even if he was unrelated party, then also 1 year period is there. So accordingly, you have to see what is the period within which, or even suppose you did some transaction 10 years back, and that was with a fraudulent intention. So then that could also, because in case of fraud, there is no time, there's no dating back, there's no going back, there's no look back period. So you can go back to any length of time since your company was incorporated. चलो काफी हो गया. अब देखते हैं कुछ sections देख लेते हैं थोड़ा सा. Section 1 of the IBC came into force. कब आया ये IBC का?
28th May 2016.
Part 3 of the code does not apply to J&K. क्या आंसर है?
Now it is applicable.
नहीं, ये 4 ऑप्शन दे रखा है ना, इसमें से बताओ.
Partially correct, but absolutely correct, totally incorrect. Totally incorrect. None of them.
सर जी ऊपर देखो ना, डज नॉट अप्लाई लिखा है. आप कह रहे हो डज नॉट अप्लाई और कह रहे हो टोटली इनकरेक्ट. तो यू आर
does not
इनकरेक्ट.
apply to you. Yes, apply is correct.
Oh,
Absolutely correct. Correct, sir.
absolutely correct.
Negative.
ऐसा ही एग्जाम में दे देता है वो.
Correct, sir.
Absolutely correct.
Two negative mean one positive. Next, treatment of personal guarantors and other individuals is different in IBC.
Treatment of personal guarantors and other individuals is different in. Yes, sir.
No. What is the answer? Actually, why this question has come? Because personal guarantors, they are covered in part 2. Other individuals and partnership forms, they come in part 3. So that is why this question, they are asking a question whether treatment of personal guarantors and other individuals is different or not. It is absolutely correct. It is different. But suppose I reframe the question. That what is the treatment to other individuals covered under part 3? So then what will be your answer? What shall be? What is the applicability of individuals other than personal guarantors in IBC? And options are same.
Sir, difference I am not able to make out. The difference between personal guarantors and other individuals. Other individuals means who, sir?
Alright, sir. पर्सनल गारंटी देखिए ऐसा है आप बताइए, हाँ बताइए प्लीज।
Sir, like an resolution professional is a
No, 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 no.
payment plan and all that.
No.
Then
Actually,
interim.
no, just a minute. Personal guarantors are those. Personal guarantors are also individuals. They are also partnership firms, but they are such individuals or partnership firms who have given a guarantee to a corporate person, and there are others who have not given any guarantee. So they are covered in part 3. Suppose an individual takes a loan from a bank, whether he will covered in part 2 or part 3.
Personal guarantors took CD, corporate person under part 2. Other individuals.
नहीं, अरे सर मैं जो क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा हूँ उसका जवाब दो। रामलाल has taken a loan from PNB. Now PNB wants to initiate action. Whether that action will come under part 2 or part 3?
Part 3, sir.
Part 2.
Yes. अरे नहीं, गलत है। तो मैडम आपका भी मुश्किल हो रहा है पास होना, मेरे को तो लग रहा है। मैंने बोल दिया आप पास हो रहे हो, आप तो गलत आंसर देने लगे। उसके बाद से आपने गलत देने शुरू कर दिए, पहले आप सही दे रहे थे बिल्कुल। तो इसमें ऐसा है कि if an individual has taken a loan, then he will be covered in part 3. But if there is an individual who has given a guarantee to a company, then he will be covered in part 2.
But here you have not said treatment of personal guarantors to corporate debtor, corporate person.
Personal guarantor, sir, personal guarantor का मतलब
personal guarantor could have given personal guarantee to individual also, but to a partnership firm also.
सर जी पर्सनल गारंटर की डेफिनेशन देखो ना आप पर्सनल गारंटर की डेफिनेशन देखो क्या
definition. For firms also,
but they cannot file in the CAP or the CIRP. Yeah, for the purpose they are putting the different actually. They cannot file. Sir, personal guarantor is giving the guarantee to personal individuals. They cannot file the case in the CARP. That's why sir is putting a difference in IBC.
Right. Rajshekharan ji, you always save me.
Yes. No, sir. But, sir, I have a point to make, sir.
No, just a minute. You see, before making any point, please read section 5, subsection 22. It will be answered. Or I can show you section 5, subsection 22. Rajshekharan ji saved me.
Section 5, subsection
22. Or I can show you here also. I think it must be there.
22. Personal guarantor means an individual who is surety in a contract of guarantee to a corporate debtor.
बस हो गया ना आंसर।
But for firm also there could be personal guarantors, no?
किसका? नहीं,
so A is an individual, B is a personal guarantor.
सर जी ऐसा है, उस in that case they will give the definition in part 3. अभी that they have not given any definition. They have included this guarantor, personal guarantors. They have already defined ना section 5 subsection 22. So you have to go as per. अभी हम क्या कर रहे हैं? We are discussing up to section 32. ठीक है ना? अभी 32 तक डिस्कस कर रहे हैं ना। पर्सनल गारंटर का डेफिनेशन दिया हुआ है 5 सबसेक्शन 22 में। फिर वेयर इज द प्रॉब्लम? अभी जब बाद में डिस्कस करेंगे दूसरे। हाँ, यस प्लीज।
Yes, sir, I have come across a case where it has so happened like there are individuals who have given guarantee to a corporate debtor.
Okay.
But the AFC is moving not against the company but against the guarantors.
Yes, they can move.
Yes, and
yes,
part,
they can always move.
Section 94 and 95 has been invoked in that
Bilkul,
case.
they are correct. They are absolutely
correct.
If you read section 60, you read section 60 and section 179, I think. You read both these sections, you will get the answer.
Yes.
And this, I did not know. Rajshekharan ji told me.
Yes.
179. So you read section 60 with section 179.
And 240.
You will get yes. You will get the answer. आपने उनको क्या बोल दिया कि गलत एक्शन ले रहे हो आप? ऐसा तो नहीं एडवाइस दे दिया देवरूपा जी?
नहीं सर, I was searching for the citations. तो
साइटेशन का जरूरत नहीं है। साइटेशन क्या करेगा इसमें? ये तो it is given in court also. ये तो ऐसा है कि हमने भी जो आप इफ यू हैव लर्न लिसन टू माय वीडियोस, उसमें भी आई हैव एक्सप्लेन्ड इट इंडिविजुअल वाले में, बहुत सिंपल है। अच्छा, ये हो गया हमारा क्वेश्चन रिगार्डिंग, ये देखिए जरा क्या है, रिगार्डिंग एप्लीकेशन ऑफ प्रोविजंस ऑफ द कोड एनी अदर कंपनी गवर्न्ड बाय एनी स्पेशल एक्ट, इसका क्या मतलब है भाई? ऐसा क्वेश्चन पूछ सकता है ना? देखिए ऐसा है, इस केस में क्या होगा, रिगार्डिंग एप्लीकेशन ऑफ प्रोविजंस ऑफ द कोड, तो एनी अदर कंपनी गवर्न्ड बाय एनी स्पेशल एक्ट, उस केस में क्या होगा, ये प्रोविजंस ऑफ स्पेशल एक्ट दे विल ओवरराइड द प्रोविजंस ऑन आईबीसी। सपोज देयर इज ए इलेक्ट्रिसिटी कॉर्पोरेशन, देयर इज ए बैंकिंग कंपनी एज डिफाइंड इन बैंकिंग कंपनीज इनकॉर्पोरेशन एक्ट, उस केस में क्या होगा, suppose there are certain provisions which are inconsistent with IBC, so in those cases जो बैंकरीज कंपनीज एक्ट में जो provisions दिए हुए हैं they will override। इसी similar way electricity corporation, in suppose there is a state electricity corporation or central electricity corporation, so in case of state electricity corporations, their provisions, if something is inconsistent with IBC, then the provisions which are given in those acts they will prevail। Bylaws means the bylaws made by
IPA.
Even disputed claims are covered under the definition of claim।
Yes, sir.
नहीं, आंसर क्या है? माली है क्या?
D, sir. D.
Yes, right। इतना टाइम लगना ही नहीं चाहिए। सेक्शन इवन अनमैच्योर्ड क्लेम्स आर कवर्ड अंडर द डेफिनेशन ऑफ क्लेम। अगर आपने क्लेम का डेफिनेशन ढंग से पढ़ा होगा तो यू कैन आंसर दिस क्वेश्चन। हाँ जी सर।
B and C, sir.
नहीं,
Answer
बी में कहा? बी में बोलता है राइट टू पेमेंट whether or not such right is reduced to judgment, fixed, disputed, undisputed, legal, equitable, right। देखिए there is a difference between right to payment and right to remedy for breach of contract। In case of right to payment, right is already there, but suppose there is an unmatured claim। Suppose you were engaged by a construction contractor in a real estate project, you have not yet submitted your bills, you are not entitled yet to raise the bills because some activity has been done but the milestone for billing purposes has not yet been attained, so that is an unmatured claim basically। So or you are entitled for payment, but payment is subject to EMI, and you are talking your future EMIs which are payable say after 1 year or so, so they are all unmatured claims, they are not yet mature। so in those things, you have got a right to remedy for breach of contract only। So this matured or unmatured will appear in case of B only, right to remedy। So I think C should be the answer। But even then, you can again read the definition of section 3, subsection 6, and then you can again discuss in the group। So what I am thinking is, I am thinking of making one group only instead of so many groups। वो बोलता है मुझे इस ग्रुप में ऐड कर लो, उसमें वो बोलता है यहाँ से निकाल दो। So I'll make one, I'll just share with all a WhatsApp group link। So those who are attending, वो क्या है, यू कैन जस्ट सेंड मी व्हाट्सएप मैसेज, आई विल इंक्लूड यू टू दैट ग्रुप। एक ही ग्रुप रहेगा फिर। कॉर्पोरेट डेटर मीन्स, just 8 minutes more and then you can ask any question. Corporate debtor means, Umaji is saying C. देखिए ऐसा है, you have to go by excluding the options. So in case is a corporation, so it cannot be a person who owes a debt to a corporate person. A corporate person who owes a debt to any person. A corporate person who owes a liability to any person. A corporate person who owes a debt to any corporate person. मेरे को तो D लग रहा है सही, corporate debtor. बाकी बुक में देखो क्या बोलता है।
डी
है, डी करेक्ट लग रहा है मेरे को तो इनमें
डी
से,
करेक्ट
है ना?
डी करेक्ट।
आपने बोल दिया तो करेक्ट है बस, ठीक है, मुझे लग रहा था। चलो नेक्स्ट करते हैं। कोर सर्विसेज मीन सर्विसेज रेंटेड बाय,
IPE.
C, sir.
yes,
C.
right,
C.
correct.
Hmm.
Next, debt means a liability or obligation in respect of a dash which is due from any dash and includes any financial debt and operational debt. So I'll share this PPT with you in the new group which I'll be forming today. So debt means a liability or obligation in respect of a dash which is due from any dash. उमा जी saying C. उमा जी आपका आंसर क्या है? C है? Debt means a liability or obligation in respect of a, मेरे को तो लगता है पहले क्लेम आना चाहिए पहले वर्ड में, तो which is due from any person आना चाहिए, क्लेम और पर्सन होना चाहिए मेरे हिसाब से तो। So what you have to do is without reading at the options, no, first of all you have to try the answer. यहाँ इसको छोड़ दो, देखो ही मत नीचे, आप अपने आप से डिफाइन करने की सोचो। मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि शायद क्लेम और पर्सन होगा, देख लो वैसे क्या है डेट में, क्या है?
Debt means a liability or obligation in respect of a
क्लेम,
डेट मींस ए क्लेम,
हाँ, which is
डेट
due,
मींस ए क्लेम,
हाँ, which is due from any person.
एनी
डी
पर्सन, दैट इज
डी
इन
होना,
द
डी
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 डी होना चाहिए, हाँ तो
डी
सही है
से
मेरे, हाँ वही है। उसमें क्या है, देखो ऐसा होता है, they are trying to confuse you, so don't look at the options at all. आप अपने आप ही ट्राई टू आंसर, ऐसा ही अगर दिया हो खाली फिल इन द ब्लैंक्स, ऐसा भी तो हो सकता है ना, पेपर फॉर्मेट ये भी कर सकते हैं आपको, भाई दे दिया आपको एक ही ऑप्शन लिखना है तो लिखो अपने मन से जो लिखना है। ये जो है ना, दिस इज प्रूविंग टू योर डिसएडवांटेज, ये दे आर गिविंग ऑप्शंस, इससे यू आर नॉट गेनिंग एनीथिंग। आपको पता होना चाहिए डेट का मतलब क्या है भाई। डेट मींस ए लायबिलिटी और ऑब्लिगेशन इन रिस्पेक्ट ऑफ ए क्लेम व्हिच इज ड्यू फ्रॉम एनी पर्सन एंड इंक्लूड्स ए फाइनेंशियल डेट एंड ऑपरेशनल डेट। चलो अगला करते हैं। डिफॉल्ट default means non-payment of debt when whole or any part or the installment of the amount due debt has become due and is
payable.
payable। सर जी ऑप्शन दे रखे हैं ना, और मैंने अभी डिस्कस भी किया था 2 मिनट पहले ही कि भाई इसमें चेंज आ गया है, पहले कुछ और वर्ड था अब कुछ और वर्ड हो गया। अभी आई जस्ट डिस्कस्ड 2-3 minutes back।
Not paid, sir.
Not paid.
Yes,
sir.
right.
Repaid has become paid.
Right, repaid has become paid. Uma ji is also correct, right. Next देखिए, फाइनेंशियल इंफॉर्मेशन। बोलता है डज नॉट इंक्लूड, अभी बात कर रहे थे ना कि भाई कुछ ऐसा दे सकता है जो, एक आंसर आ गया, आंसर आया ए। ये तो गलत नहीं लग रहा सर मेरे को, ये गलत लग रहा है सर, डज नॉट इंक्लूड है। अच्छा ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है, हाँ डज नॉट और इंसॉल्वेंट हो गया ना, ठीक है सही है, मेरे को सही लग रहा है आपका आंसर। ये है। रिकॉर्ड्स ऑफ प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस काउंट, भाई वो बैलेंस शीट आ गई तो बैलेंस शीट में प्रॉफिट लॉस तो आ ही गया ना। बैलेंस शीट और प्रॉफिट लॉस एक ही बात है। ये है
स्टेटमेंट नहीं आता है सर।
फंड फ्लो स्टेटमेंट।
हाँ, नहीं इसमें वो बोलता है वो कैश फ्लो और फंड फ्लो एक ही बात है।
फाइनेंशियल इंफॉर्मेशन इन रिलेशन टू
ये
पर्सन डज
पहला
नॉट इंक्लूड द फॉलोइंग।
मेरे हिसाब से तो ये आंसर होना चाहिए, रिकॉर्ड्स ऑफ द लायबिलिटीज व्हेन द पर्सन इज इंसॉल्वेंट, क्योंकि आप
सॉल्वेंट पर्सन,
क्योंकि सॉल्वेंट का है वहां ना। और आप देखो बैलेंस शीट इंक्लूड्स प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस अकाउंट। अब वो मान लो इनकम एंड एक्सपेंडिचर अकाउंट लिख दे, स्टेटमेंट ऑफ फाइनेंशियल पोजीशन लिख दे, एक ही तो बात है। बैलेंस शीट और उसमें कोई फर्क थोड़ी है। ऐसे कैश फ्लो लिख दो, फंड फ्लो लिख दो, एक ही बात है। अगर प्रोजेक्टेड कैश फ्लो लिख देगा तो गलत है। नेक्स्ट देखते हैं। ये क्वेश्चन मैंने खुद बना रखे हैं, एक ही बुक में नहीं है किसी में। दे आर नॉट अवेलेबल इन एनी बुक को, मैंने खुद ही बना रखे हैं।
सो डिफिकल्ट आंसर।
अरे ये कुछ नहीं आंसर, ये राजशेखरन जी मुझसे पूछते रहते हैं, मैं इसमें डालता रहता हूँ, बस और क्या। हाँ जी।
Which of the following financial institution?
ये अभी अभी डिस्कस किया था, ये आज डिस्कस किया था।
SIDBI is a financial institution. NABARD is a financial institution. Cooperative bank, sir. Cooperative bank is a scheduled bank. Grameen Bank. NABARD and SIDBI are financial institutions.
एक से ज्यादा भी एक से ज्यादा भी हो सकता है, कोई जरूरी
Which of the
नहीं
following is a financial institution?
हम्म
SIDBI is a financial institution. D.
कौन से कहां दे रखा है, कौन सा सेक्शन है? 2 सेक्शन 2 सब सेक्शन, ये 3 में होगा ना। 3 में कौन सा सेक्शन सब सेक्शन है? व्हाट इज द सब सेक्शन?
1 minute.
शुरू में ही था ना, ये तो 5-6 के आसपास होगा भाई।
Board, bench, bylaws, trusted person. Financial institution 12B.
312
Financial institution as defined by the Reserve Bank of India.
नहीं, 3 का कौन सा सब सेक्शन है? विच सब सेक्शन? 313 है?
14B सर।
अच्छा 314 है, ठीक है। ये आ गया 314। तो 314 में देखो, जो कोऑपरेटिव बैंक है ना वो तो सारे शेड्यूल्ड बैंक है, ठीक है। ग्रामीण बैंक जो है वो भी सारे शेड्यूल्ड बैंक है, ये तो सब शेड्यूल्ड बैंक में आ रहे हैं। अब बाकी रहेगा नाबार्ड, नाबार्ड इसमें नहीं है।
SIDBI is a financial institution.
ये देखो जो
फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन
जो ये कोऑपरेटिव बैंक है और जो ग्रामीण बैंक है, ये तो आपके शेड्यूल्ड बैंक है, ठीक है ना।
यस सर, यस
तो
सर।
हाँ, तो शेड्यूल्ड बैंक में तो फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन में आ नहीं रहा। फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन कौन है? जो 45I में डिफाइंड है, ठीक है ना। अब 45I वाले देख लेते हैं। तो 45I में जो आएगा आपका, ये बेसिकली जो नॉन बैंकिंग इंस्टीट्यूशन है ना, दे आर कवर्ड। अब इनमें देख लो नाबार्ड या सिडबी में से कौन सा नॉन बैंकिंग है। भाई एक तो एग्रीकल्चरल ऑपरेशन से रिलेटेड हो, कलेक्टिंग फॉर एनी पर्पस और अंडर एनी स्कीम और अरेंजमेंट। मेरे हिसाब से ये नेशनल एग्रीकल्चरल डेवलपमेंट बोर्ड है ना, ये नाबार्ड।
नेशनल एग्रीकल्चर बोर्ड
फॉर एग्रीकल्चर एंड रूरल डेवलपमेंट है ना, नाबार्ड ये है। तो ये आई थिंक इट कैन बी कवर्ड अंडर फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन, क्योंकि देखो आप इसका पढ़ो, कलेक्टिंग फॉर एनी पर्पस और अंडर एनी स्कीम और अरेंजमेंट बाय व्हाटएवर नेम कॉल्ड मनीज इन लंप सम or otherwise by way of subscription or by way of sale of units or other instruments or disbursing monies to any persons from whom monies are collected or any other person, but does not include any institution which carries on as its principal business agricultural operations, industrial activity, ये इसमें नहीं आता। फिर पब्लिक फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशंस है। कोई बात नहीं, वी कैन डिस्कस इट इन द ग्रुप, क्या है इसमें, है ना।
स्मॉल इंडस्ट्रीज डेवलपमेंट बैंक ऑफ इंडिया सर, SIDBI, that is also financial institution. Like IDBI earlier. SIDBI is for small industries.
हाँ, मेरे ख्याल आप फिर भी आप एक बार देख लीजिएगा। देखिए फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन जो नोटिफाइड हो गए एज पब्लिक फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन, ये यहाँ मिल जाएगा इसका नाम। ये देखिए सिडबी So SIDBI is a financial institution which has been notified. So SIDBI is a financial institution. NABARD इसमें नहीं है. NABARD SIDBI, तो आंसर SIDBI होगा इसका.
Yes, sir.
Because there is a list, no? NABARD भी है वैसे तो ये रहा, National Bank for Agricultural Development. NABARD is also a financial institution. ये दोनों financial institution है, NABARD and SIDBI.
Both are financial institutions,
Yes.
and both are registered.
Yes.
No defined by
Not
RBI.
right. बिल्कुल ठीक है, बिल्कुल सही. Next देखिए, in case of public financial institution, what is the percentage of paid up share capital to be held by central government? कितनी है?
51%.
नहीं,
Yes.
आंसर इनमें से बताइए ना क्या है?
3, sir.
क्या बोलता है? 50% in case of central government and 51% in case of state government.
I'm not able to see. I'm watching from my mobile.
अच्छा, नहीं मोबाइल नहीं, लैपटॉप में करा करो, ज्यादा सही रहता है. मोबाइल पे ना कई बार नजर नहीं आता, थोड़ा कम नजर आता है. मोबाइल में छोटा सा तो मोबाइल होता है, उसमें कितना नजर आता है. या तो वो ले लिया करो आप, ये जो होते हैं पैड वगैरह, क्या कहते हैं उसको?
iPad.
यस, आईपैड. हाँ, आईपैड फिर भी थोड़ा सा बड़ा होता है उससे. तो इन केस ऑफ पब्लिक फाइनेंशियल, मुझे तो लैपटॉप चलाना भी नहीं आता था, इसलिए लॉकडाउन में मैंने सीखा. I did not have a laptop even. When lockdown was imposed, I gave this laptop to my staff for using at his residence. I did not know how to operate laptop. उससे पहले I was comfortable with desktop only. But during lockdown, since we could not go to office, we had to operate from home. So that's why I bought this laptop. तो क्या आंसर है सर? अब देखो कंफ्यूजन कहाँ है?
Not less than 51%. B.
पहले तो आप सी बोल रहे थे. क्या कहते हैं? फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन कहता जी मिनिमम 51%. 51 है, कई बार 50 और 51 में कंफ्यूजन हो जाता है.
That's why in B it is stated not less than 50.
yes. हाँ, 50 up to minimum 50. तो मिनिमम और नॉट लेस देन एक ही बात है. तो इसीलिए कई बार 50 है ना, वो दिक्कत है. तो नॉट लेस देन 50 इज नॉट करेक्ट, नॉट लेस देन 51 है. नेक्स्ट, फाइनेंशियल प्रोडक्ट.
Indian currency. Yes, sir.
नेक्स्ट, कोई गूगल तो नहीं कर रहे साथ साथ में? ट्रांजैक्शन शुड बी ट्रांजैक्शन जो है कैसी होनी चाहिए?
As per provisions of Indian Contract Act. D, sir.
भाई जो राजशेखर जी बोलते हैं करेक्ट हो क्या? राजशेखर जी बताओ क्या है?
Even orally or writing also we have to be taken. Orally or writing also we have to be take it as transactions.
बिल्कुल. किसी में भी हो सकती है ट्रांजैक्शन, तो ट्रांजैक्शन है, उसमें क्या, कोई ओरल भी हो सकती
है. That's what even Contract Act says, sir.
हाँ, right. So D should be the answer.
D should be the answer.
D, right. D is the answer. Transfer does not, and there is one, देखो ऊपर वर्डिंग भी थोड़ी चेंज है. should be लिखा है, तो should be में दोनों फिर नहीं हो सकती ना, ये ही आएगा, D आंसर आएगा. अब देखते हैं ये नेक्स्ट. देखिए, ट्रांसफर डज नॉट इंक्लूड. हाँ जी, क्या आंसर है? नहीं, बेलमेंट में क्यों नहीं होगी? बेलमेंट में भी हो सकती है ट्रांसफर.
Yes.
बी आंसर होना चाहिए, पोस्टिंग फ्रॉम वन ऑफिस टू अनदर. भाई IBC है ये. वो तो ऐसे ही डाल दिया उसमें. कि आपकी ट्रांसफर हो गई, वो ये थोड़ी यहाँ थोड़ी आएगा वो। आप दिल्ली से कलकत्ता ट्रांसफर हो गए कि आईबीसी में आ जाएगा ट्रांसफर में। नेक्स्ट, वर्कमैन इंक्लूड्स so for definition of workman you have to see the definition as per section 2 जो भी है of the industrial disputes act 21S है या ऐसा कुछ है। तो उसमें एयरमैन जो है ना, एयरमैन इज नॉट इंक्लूडेड। वो क्या करते हैं, एयरमैन वगैरह को इंक्लूड उसमें नहीं करते। ये पुलिस वगैरह भी नहीं आते उसमें। सेक्शन 3 क्या 331 है क्या सेक्शन, क्या सेक्शन उसका बताना रहा। सेक्शन 3 सब सेक्शन क्या है, 31 है शायद वर्कमैन का, क्या है ऐसा ही है। लास्ट पे लास्ट वाले लास्ट बट वन है ना।
336 sir, 336.
अच्छा 336 है, ठीक है। तो 336 में
Workman shall have the same meaning in assigned to a class. Yes, of section Industrial Dispute Act.
तो वो ये कहता है ये
It's an
डेफिनेट।
apprentice.
अच्छा वहां देखते हैं, इंडस्ट्रियल डिस्प्यूट्स एक्ट डिफाइंस एनी वर्कमैन एज वर्कमैन मींस including an apprentice employed in an industry to do any manual, unskilled, skilled, technical, operational, clerical or supervisory work for hire or reward, whether the terms of employment be express or implied, and for the purpose of any proceeding under this act in relation to an industrial dispute, includes any such person who has been dismissed, discharged or retrenched in connection with or as a consequence of that dispute, or his dismissal, discharge or retrenchment has led to that dispute, but does not include any such person. कौन कौन से इंक्लूडेड नहीं है, who is subject to Air Force Act या आर्मी एक्ट या नेवी एक्ट, who is employed in the police service or as an officer or other employee of a prison, who is employed mainly in managerial or administrative capacity, who being employed in a supervisory capacity draws wages exceeding। तो इसमें जो पुलिस कांस्टेबल है और जो एयरमैन है both will not be included।
Even manager will become employee, sir. He is not workman.
Actually, no. Sometimes what they do, he is basically a workman, but simply designation does not decide. Your actually what you are doing actually. Suppose there is a labor, they give him appointment as manager. So then whether it will be excluded? No. Because workmen, it is a beneficial legislation. Workmen are entitled to certain benefits. They can raise disputes. They can take the employer to industrial disputes tribunal. So that is the basic purpose. So basically it is a beneficial legislation, and they will try to include as many as possible instead of excluding. So if there is a labor and you just give him appointment letter as manager, so whether he will be excluded, he will not be excluded, he will be included in the definition of workman.
But out of 4 options given here,
Apprentice.
workman includes only the apprentice.
Apprentice only.
Manager
Yes.
is a manager.
Yes.
Airman and the police constables are excluded as it is.
Right. Next.
So, apprentice only.
So section 3 तक हो गया. In section 4, in case of prepack, what is the minimum amount of default?
10 lakhs.
Huh?
10 lakhs.
10 lakhs. अच्छा, suppose if there is a default of say 100 crores, so whether that case can come under prepack?
Yes,
Yes,
sir. Yes.
because this is the minimum amount. Maximum could be anything. But suppose say it is a company which say 100 crores turnover, 100 crore नहीं, 100 crores की paid up capital है suppose, so whether it will be covered under prepack?
It is not MSME.
MSME.
MSME में नहीं आएगा वो। MSME के हिसाब से भी आपको देखना पड़ेगा। MSME so you have to see both the criteria, MSME भी होना चाहिए और minimum default भी जो है वो 10 lakhs होना चाहिए। तो ठीक है, I hope you enjoyed this session. Now you can ask any questions as you like. Now we will stop the recording, है ना? अभी यहाँ पर stop कर देते हैं. The purpose of this session was basically